All right, y'all. Sit down, lie down, squat down. But I'm back. Bell tells. Before we get going, if you haven't subscribed, please do so. I've also got my Instagram account in the description, so you can follow me on Instagram to get to know me a little bit better. Click that bell. Here we go. So today's story is going to be called Stop Labeling Folks. And I find that we tend to label people a lot based on our own experience or what we think how somebody should be. And the truth be told, if we would just let people be them and be true to them, we would get to know somebody a lot better. And like I've said before, you might get to learn something a little bit better about yourself or avoid a situation. So when I was a child, I was diagnosed with dyslexia. And in those days, dyslexia was viewed as pretty much you were slow. And I remember being extremely frustrated because I got it. I just wasn't learning the way everybody else was learning. Like I couldn't put my finger on it. I couldn't figure it out. And that took time. And what studies are starting to show now is people with dyslexia are some of your most creative or some of the most smartest people you run into. We just learn differently. I'm a visual and an auditory learner. So once I see it and I say it, I'll remember it forever. But I didn't know that then. I was a child. And I remember a teacher asking me, I was in 8th grade, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I remember I was probably 14. I said, well, I want to be a lawyer. And she giggled. And I said, what's so funny? You're dyslexic. I said, okay. You'll be lucky if you can get to go to college. And I remember feeling a sense of worthlessness. Like I would never be good enough. I would never do things I wanted to do because I just wasn't good enough. And I said, why can't I looked at the teacher and I said, why can't I become a lawyer? And she said, well, you're dyslexic. You need to accept your disability and deal with it. Maybe one day you could be like a secretary for school or work in the lunch line at an elementary school. And she kind of giggled at me. And it hurt so bad because I thought, wow, this is how she feels about me. I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough to her. One thing that fuels me is when people tell me you can't do it or you'll never be able to do it. That just, it stirs something inside of me because I want to prove you wrong. You don't get to tell me my worth. You don't get to label me, and you don't get to determine who I am. It's my job. So I will do things to prove I can do it. But I remember looking at the teacher and I looked at her and I said, one day I'll work in law and I'll make twice as much money as you're making. And I'll remember this and I'll come back and tell you. That enraged her. She told me, get out of my classroom, go to the principal's office. So I go to the principal's office and he's like, well, what are you doing in my office? Because I was like, I wasn't a bad kid. And I told him what happened and he said, go back to her class and you tell her to come see me. Okay. Exactly what I did. She comes back after she talks to him and she says he wants to see you back in his office. And I'm like, come on. So I go and he said, we're going to have to remove you out of her class. You did nothing wrong. You're right. And what she did, she should have never done as a teacher. Ever. So I went to a different class and it stuck with me. And that's why one of the things I say every time I close out anything is be cognizant of the things you say and how you say them, because words hurt. And when words are out, you can't take them back. They're out there. Damage is done. Least said, easiest mended. If you can't say nothing nice, shut your mouth. Keep your mouth shut. Because once you say it, you can't go back and say, well, I didn't mean it. Or I just spoke out of anger. Then shut your mouth. Least said, easiest mended. But the fact that she said that to me, that stuck with me for a few years. And fast forward when I was a sophomore in high school, and I had a teacher who was retired general out of the Army. Straight dude. Ooh-wee. See, straight. Hardcore. So one day he was tutoring me because he said, if you don't start learning this algebra, you're going to fail my class. And he said, but you can do it. And I didn't think I could. And he was working with me. I'd come in early in the morning, stay after school. He was working with me on algebra. And I will never forget what he said to me, because the light bulb went off and it changed the course of that statement he made. Changed the course for the rest of my life. He looked at me and he said, Amanda, you might be dyslexic and you might learn differently, but you've allowed people to label you and determine your self-worth and your value, and it's your fault. Truth be told, it's your fault. You're responsible for that. And he said, you're a smart cookie. I've listened to you talk, and I've listened to your opinions. You're smart, but you've allowed your disability to be your crutch, and that's your fault. You can change that. But if you don't start determining your worth and changing your mindset, and stop allowing people to dictate who you are, you'll never accomplish anything you want to accomplish in life. The only person that's going to look out for you is you. And it was like light bulb went off in that moment. That changed everything for me. From that moment on, I started learning how to teach myself. And I finished algebra with an A. It just that moment of honesty and him just being real, it stuck with me for the rest of my life. From that moment on, I never allowed my disability to be my crutch. From that moment on, I never allowed anybody to determine my worth. From that moment on, I stood tall and I looked at myself differently, and I put value on who I am as a person. And my self-esteem began to build. And to this day, I went to college. I was a single mom when I went to college. I was working during the day, going to school at night. I graduated with honors, and I work in law now. And anybody that listens to my story, listens to me talk, knows that what I really want to get into, what I really studied, was to work in criminal law. I want to get into prison reform. And I was told a couple weeks ago, that's going to be an uphill battle for you. I've always been told you're going to get a lot of no's before you get a yes. I don't care. If you reach for the moon, you're going to collect a lot more stars than if you reach for one star. This may take me 10 years to accomplish, but I truly want to get into prison reform, and I want to change the system, change the laws to where we make our system better, to where we're not just institutionalizing people, but we're actually doing something that is more successful and will help versus the way things are right now. So, lesson to be learned. You're responsible for your own identity, your self-worth, self-esteem, and your overall view of yourself. The key word there being self. Don't let anybody else tell you who you are. You determine that. And despite your past hardships or things that you've gone through, know that tomorrow is a new day. And tomorrow and today can start your success. It's a mindset you have to have. And if you can change your mind and have that mindset, nobody will stop you from doing whatever you want to do. All right, that's it. I'm going to close it out. Please and thank yous are a must. Smile never hurt no one. Be cognizant of the things you say and how you say them, because kindness is always priceless. All right, y'all. Have a good week. Stay positive. Bye-bye.